Shift focus now to Jammu and Kashmir, where there has been a terror attack which was targeted at tourists there. At least 5 tourists have been injured in this attack that took place in Pahalgam, a very, very popular tourist spot. Security forces have now rushed to this area, and what we do know is that gunshots were heard in the upper meadows of this tourist resort, Pahalgam. In fact, this area is approachable only on foot or by horse. So the security agencies have rushed there, and according to initial reports, it seems 5 tourists are injured. There you can see visuals coming of the terrified tourists, and clearly they have been targeted. This attack coming when US Vice President J.D. Vance is in India, and this is something that we have seen when especially somebody from the US visit, that we do see a spark in attacks in Jammu and Kashmir. Let's go across to Nazir. Nazir, what more can you tell us? What is happening? How many tourists have been injured?
Reports what police have confirmed as 5, but number of injured could be more. It is a horrible attack. Innocent tourists have been targeted in this horrible terror incident when they had gone for the trekking in a place called Baisaran. It's a very, very beautiful valley in Pahalgam, which is the most famous tourist destination in the valley, in Kashmir. And these people had gone to that beautiful valley, Baisaran Valley, but the terror cast an ugly shadow, and they targeted these innocent tourists. And a senior police officer I spoke to said they received distress call, and then they rushed the forces because this area is not connected with the road. So they have rushed the troops on foot or the horseback. So it is something which is very, very disturbing, very worrying at a time when we see Kashmir was witnessing the lowest footprint of these terrorists and the highest footprint of tourists. And now people were talking about tourism, not terrorism. And we had seen theater of militancy has shifted from the valley to Jammu. But clearly it is right from Kutwa up to now, there's Kishtwar, and then these, now Pahalgam, such a horrible incident happening there where innocent people, innocent tourists have been targeted. Medical teams have rushed there. They are evacuating the tourists to hospital, as you can see in the visuals. Ambulance is rushing, but evacuating tourists from that area is just not easy. So the terrorists had chosen this target very, brazenly, because a police officer told me that they were in the camouflage and they were heavy firing on them. So it is something which has happened on a day when US Vice President is India, and we have seen in the past also that whenever there has been some high-profile visit to India, there were terror attacks on innocent people. You remember when Bill Clinton was in India, many people, including these Sikhs, were killed in Chhattisgarh, in Anantnag district. And today we see when US Vice President is in India, there's a horrible terror attack. And when Prime Minister Modi has gone to United States, this Saudi Arabia for this official visit, so there's this horrible terror attack. Recently, Home Minister Amit Shah visited Jammu and Kashmir. He reviewed the security situation and asked security forces go all out against those militants who are carrying out attacks in Jammu, because Jammu has become the big terror site or the attack site for the terrorists. And this is a vast area where the forests have been being used by terrorists in Jammu region, but nobody had thought that they would target innocent tourists in a place called Pahalgam. And Pahalgam has another very significant, which is that it is the base camp for the Amarnath Yatra. In next 2 months, Amarnath Yatra is also starting, and Pahalgam is the base camp for the Yatra. That also shows the security concerns and how terrorists have made their presence in this area, which is normally highly sanitized and which is seen as the very peaceful region. As we've seen, security forces have been talking about that they have eliminated militancy in the valley. But this attack is a grim reminder that how ugly the terror can rear its ugly head, and innocent tourists can be targeted. We are waiting for more information, and initial information says at least 5 tourists have been injured in this horrible attack.
All right, a terrible incident there, a terror attack targeting tourists there. Let's just listen into what Ravinder Raina had to say.
कायर पाकिस्तानी आतंकवादियों ने दक्षिण कश्मीर के पहलगाम में पर्यटकों के ऊपर कायराना आतंकी हमला किया है। कायर पाकिस्तानी आतंकवादी भारतीय सेना, जम्मू कश्मीर पुलिस और हमारे पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस के जांबाज वीरों का तो सामना कर नहीं सकते। इन कायर, इन बुज़दिल पाकिस्तानी आतंकवादियों ने कश्मीर को घूमने आए निहत्थे निर्दोष पर्यटकों को निशाना बनाया है।